Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mohammed Tuamel Hussain, and I will be teaching you economics, principles of economics, ECON1011 for Sydney City campus. And okay, as I said earlier, that this video will be recorded, and all of our videos all our lectures will be recorded, and workshops will be recorded, and we will upload them after we record it, after the lecture is finished. Today is not a very long class. Today we're going to talk about unit outline. We'll talk about how the assessment will be done. We'll talk about the book. Maybe a little bit of our first chapter we'll cover today. All right. So this is your homepage for this subject, and you can find here. Yes. You'll be finding here all of the necessary resources, like who is your unit coordinator, who are the teaching staff, or unit learning outcomes. Okay, these things you'll find it in here. So these are unit learning outcomes, and what you need to do to pass the subject. You need a concept or podcast or lectures for 1 hour, reading for 1.5 hours that you have to do, pre-tutorial activities 1.5 hours, and our tutorials will be 2 hours. Okay, so this is the thing, is 4 hours in total. So 2 hours will be doing, and another 2 hours will be doing by yourself. And this is our learning guide. Okay. If you click on the learning guide, it will take you to the learning guide. Okay, so this is our learning guide for Sydney City campus. Okay, let's have a look. Here is our learning guide. So now I'll be talking about what are the things covered in this subject. We'll talk about that. All right, so this is your subject coordinator, Dr. Mamta B. Chaudhary, and that's me, subject convener. Okay. All right, consultation arrangement that please liaise directly with the academic teaching this unit. So you can talk to me straight if you need any consultation or any sort of help you need. I'm always here to help you. And for administrative support, you can talk to this office. Any other support you need, you can talk to them. That's for the librarian. Okay, at Sydney City Campus, level 5, Elizabeth Street. Level 8 to 55, Elizabeth Street. Now we'll talk about economics, about this subject. Okay. All right, so this unit, the introduction to economics concept and contemporary economic issues. Okay. So we'll talk here mostly about economics. And we will start to think like an economist. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to learn in this subject. What is expected of you? You're expected to have the study load. Okay. We are expecting that you will be studying an hour per credit point of a week. For example, 10 credit point subject would require 10 hours of study per week. Okay. And this subject includes the time spent within classes, during lectures, tutorial, and practical, altogether 10 hours we're expecting you to do. So in classroom, you can see we are doing only for 2 hours, but you have to do the rest. Okay. Attendance, it is strongly recommended that a student attend all scheduled lecturing activities to support their learning. All right, and online requirements you have, that is the thing that builds you have to go e-learning platform for Eastern Sydney, Australia. And I think that's all we have so far. All right. So these things are very common things that we all know about it, that you should not do any misconduct, you should not do any plagiarism, any sort of behavior, that is not in classroom environment. All right. So this is our subject learning outcome. These 5 things you're going to learn: explain and apply key economic concepts appropriately, interpret economic data and apply simple economic models to the analysis of relevant economic issues, present logical economic arguments in written or oral form. Okay. Interpret and solve economic problems, explain and evaluate the likely effects of government economic policies. Okay. So what will be your assessment? So you will have this 4 different types of way we're going to assess you. Okay. So one is quiz, 20%. So there will be 4 quizzes, actually 4 quizzes. Quiz 1 will be on 14th of November. Okay, that's the time it is due. Quiz 2 is due on 28th of November, 11:30 p.m. last time. Quiz 3, 12th of December. And quiz 4, 26th of December. So we have around 4 quizzes. Okay. And then we'll have a portfolio. And every week we'll have a portfolio, and we'll start from week 2. Okay. And we'll be starting and ending in week 13, I believe, 13 or 14 anyway. Short answer is a 20% mark. So it is due on 9th of January, week 10, 11:30 p.m. Okay. And the last is the final exam. Okay. All right. So how the quiz will be. So there are 4 quizzes you can see here. So quiz 1 is will be due date is on 14th of November, 14th of November, 11:30 p.m. But I believe I will make it open, like here it says 14th. So it will be open it from 8th of November. We're gonna open it. Okay, and it will be based on chapter 1 and 2. Now for week 2, it will be open from 22nd of November to till 28th of November. Excuse me. Quiz 3 is from 6th of December. And quiz 4 is 20th of December till 26th of December during the Christmas time. But it's just a quiz, so you can actually sit it on 20th here to you. Okay. And I'll show you what type of quiz it will be, what type of questions will be covered. I'm going to actually show it to you. So nothing to be worried about much. All right, then it is portfolio. Every week you will have to sit, every week starting from week 2, you will have to sit for a portfolio. I'll show you what did I do with the portfolio. You can have a look. And length is 15 minutes time only it will take you, not that much of time. Okay. And finally, it is our assignment one, individual assignment. Okay. There will be some short question answers are in there. Okay. And you have to answer those questions. All right. And lastly is the final exam. Okay. So final exam we have threshold. Okay, so final exam we have a threshold at 40%. 20 out of 50 is the minimum you will have to achieve. Okay, if you do not meet the threshold in the final exam, you will receive a compulsory fail grade. Yes. And overall, you will have to have 50% mark you will have to get. So in total, you have to get 50%, 50 marks, but just in final exam, you will have to cover 20 marks minimum. Okay. And final exam will be held online, on campus or online is to be announced. Check the examination timetable for the location. The final exam is closed book exam. No materials are to be brought into the exam venue, except for pen, pencil, erasers, and non-programmable calculators. So this is closed book exam. Any questions for me, guys? Any of you?
No.
No, so far. That's great. All right. I think that's all we got in here. Oh, there is our chapters. There is our chapters, what we're going to cover. Okay, very interesting. So week 9, we have a mid-semester break. Okay, let me see how many. Oh, yeah, it's week 13, we have portfolio. Week 14, we don't have much things. Week 15 is the final exam. So here you see, week 10, we do not have any portfolio. We have short answer questions to be submitted. But when you have quiz, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 quizzes done before within 8 weeks. So yes, so first chapter is about introduction to economics. Okay, now let me take you guys back to our website. Okay, now it's time for me to show you guys how are the quizzes and other things looks like. So this is our learning modules. I hope you guys did not have any problem to find out the Zoom link, did you?
No.
No, that's right. Why did you find the Zoom link? In learning modules or in there's another place I uploaded, online meetings. It's 2 places I uploaded them. So this is the same link. Yeah. Where did you find it? On here, learning modules, or you find it from the online meetings module?
I found it on the online.
Yeah, online meetings.
Yeah, so I'll keep it in mind next time that our students always look for the link on online meeting here. So I will always put it in here. That's why I'm asking. All right, fair enough. Now let's move on. Assessment 1, quiz 1, how the quiz looks like. Okay, assessment 1, online quiz. So assessment 1 does not mean only one quiz. Assessment means online quiz itself is one assessment. Okay, that's why we call it one assessment, assessment number 1. Online quiz, 20%, there will be 4 quizzes. So here are online quiz 1, chapter 1 and 2. It is not available. Item is hidden from students, it will be available from 8. Okay. And quiz 2, it will be available from 22nd. Okay, we can see that. Quiz 3, 6, and here is 20. But there's nothing to be worried about, guys. What I have done for you is I organized the practice quizzes. Okay, so practice quiz, you turn it on. This is practice. This is not going to be marked. Chapter 1 and 2. Okay, so this one is like twice, so I just hide it from you. It's not available to you. And then practice quiz 2, chapter 3 and 4, practice quiz 5 and 6. They will be open actually at the same time. Okay. Let me see when they're going to be open. Oh, practice quiz 1, item is hidden users, it will be available from 7/11, 7th of November. Well, from next week, it's going to be available anyway. All right. So anyway, you can practice the quiz first. Okay, this is not going to actually have any problem with you. It has nothing to do with marking or anything. Okay, to help you prepare for the online quiz, note that this practice quiz only and does not contribute towards your assessment. This quiz will present you with 10 questions randomly selected, covering the contents of chapter 1 to 3 of the textbook. So yeah, so we click on continue. Now you will see this MCQ questions, 20 MCQ questions are there. You will sit for the 20 MCQ questions like this. This is just practice one, okay? Now, if I take you to portfolio, let me take it clear. So you see all the assessment are in here. Assessment 1, online quiz, assessment 2, portfolio, assessment 3, assignment, assessment 4, final exam. Okay. This is portfolio. So you can say assessment 2, portfolio 10%. So there are about how many assessments? I think there are about 10 or 11 portfolios there. Okay, so it will be available from 8. Okay, so portfolio question is available from week 2. So next week is week 2. So next week we're gonna make it available to you all. Okay. Portfolio questionnaire for 2, 3, 4. You can see when they will be available on the black marks mentioned there. All right, that's it. So there are 10 portfolio questionnaires in 12 weeks time. This should be actually week 13, 12, 11, 10, 8. Yeah, that's fine, actually, that's fine. So week 8, we have 1. Week 9, we are having off, 10, 11. I think week 10, we do not have any portfolio because this is week 10 is our assignment due, right? That's what I will say. I will check it here now. Week 10, we do not have anything. So portfolio week 8, week 10, this is not correct. This should be actually week 11. Okay. This is not week 10. Week 10, we do not have anything. Week 11. Okay. So yes, 5, 7. 9 is also, 9 is not week 11. 9 will be week 12. Okay. And 10 will be on week 13. That's all we have so far. Yes. And 10 is week 13, and that's all we got. That's it. So you know now the portfolio is also ready. Assignment. Here is your assignment, individual assignment. 20 item is not available to you. It will be available from 13th of December. Okay. I think the due date is the item is not available. That's okay. Hidden from me. Okay. Here is a submission link. I did not open it yet. It will be open from 2nd of January 2022, because I'm going to open it for just for 1 week. Okay, just for 1 week opening. I think that's all we have so far. And the final exam, we don't know yet. Okay, final exam. Well, final exam related informations are available. Okay, but it's not ready yet. We haven't done it yet. All right, any questions for me so far, guys? Anything to ask me? No? If you have no questions to ask me, I think I will move on to learning modules now. So this is our link. Okay, you can find the same link from online meetings, Zoom. Okay, here, you can find it from here. So we use the same link throughout the whole term. So you don't have to come up with every week new meeting ID. All right. Orientation and the introduction. Let's start. Okay. All right. So this is housekeeping. You can see it here. That's my name, Tuamen Hussain. You can email me at this address. You can send email, location online, contact me by email to make an appointment if you need any consultations. All right, here is the book. Okay. So regarding the book, okay, I think you have you don't have to buy the book if you guys enjoy online books. These things are available. If you go, I'll show you right now. Let me have a look. Let me show you where you will find your book. It's here. If you go on, for example, in here, reading and resources, that's your book. Okay. So this is your book. This book is available online. You go on view online. Now here you have to enter your university address. Okay, I think we don't need the last part after this. Let me see if we can log in. Here it is, so you can log in easily. Principle of Economics ebook. Read online or download the book. Okay. So you can download they will download in a different format. Okay, like in Adobe Digital Edition format, they will be downloading it, but we don't need that. We can go straight, click here, read online. The book is in here. Okay, so you do not have to spend money on your books anymore. Maybe later, but since this is online classes, so we try to give everything to students ready with them online. Now going back to my PowerPoint slide, so you know how to find the book too. All right, so we know the book, we know the assessment, you know most of the things. All right, let's start with what is economics. Okay, so if I go very fast, please stop me. If I go very slow, let me know that too. That's not only slow and fast. Also, let me know if you don't understand me either. Okay. All right. So let's start. What is economics? That's a very good question. What is economics? Okay. A lot of people don't understand what is the main function of economics is. What does economics do? A lot of people don't understand this. Okay. So many people think economics is all about money. Economics is all about government, inflation. That's what they think. Okay. Sorry. Interesting part is that all these things are created for some reasons. What are the reasons? The first reason I would say here is this, that the first reason they have is that how do we distribute or satisfy human wants and needs with limited resources? Now, you will not understand this point until I give you some background history. So background thing is this, that our resources in this world are very scarce. What do you mean by scarce? Are very limited. Comparing to our people, comparing to the population of this world, our resources are very limited. Now, the thing is that that's not the only problem that resources are limited. The problem becomes more, it spirals more. Okay. When these people, they're huge population, and all this population has unlimited wants and needs. Okay, that's the problem. That it's not only, they're not just give us the problem of a lot of long population. Okay, very huge number of population. Not only that, now they're coming up with unlimited wants and needs. So there is a big, very, very big difference in between wants and needs. There is quite a little bit of difference in between wants and need. What people want and what people need. Okay. Now, moving forward, the main function of economics, the reason we have created economics is that to satisfy the unlimited human wants and needs with the limited resources. And we have to satisfy it efficiently. Okay, so we have limited resources. For example, the resources we have in this world, let's say we have 20 metric ton of gold, for example. Can we make 1 extra kilogram of gold? We can't. Can we increase our land size? We can't, it's limited. But look at population. People are not trying to understand, oh, we have 7.8 billion people living in this world, right? 7.8 billion people living in this world. Now, the problem is if they don't understand the 7.8 billion people, that our land is limited and everybody wants to have a big mansion, we can't afford them to give them a house. It's not possible. You know what I mean? So this type of problems we have. Same way, think about the chicken we have. So think 500 years back from today or 1,000 years back from today, people are just enjoying chicken roosters from the forest. They keep eating so much, there's no more chicken left in the forest. You see? Not much of chicken available in the forest now. What do? It's a big problem. Now the issue is this, that, but we have to eat. No chicken in the forest, what are you going to eat? What are you going to eat then? Look for alternative source of food. If possible, make more chicken like we do now. Scientists are making that incubator chicken. The chicken you see in Woolies, Coles, those, most of them, I will not say 100%, but I will say most of them are farm produced. Why? Why chicken needs to be farm produced? Because we need to feed 7.8 billion hungry mouths every day, minimum 2 times. Do you realize the problem, guys? How many students do I have? Nobody's talking. Guys, you guys are with me?
Yeah.
Okay, can you guys understand where I am going with this discussion where I'm taking? Look, I do not follow much of books. Mainly, I try to talk to you guys so that you guys can understand the real problem in your life. I'm not going to make you bored with all these things from the book and this. No, I'll try to talk you the real problems of life. All right?
Okay.
Who was talking to me? Charmaine Lopez.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy a good chicken?
Yeah.
That's nice. How about one from the Nature and one from the farm. Which one you like, Coles or Woolies?
Woolies.
It's actually the same, right? Isn't it? All of them coming from the farms.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I teach in another place, and I told my other students one day that the chicken you guys are having is not real chicken, it's fake. They couldn't believe me, trust me. Yeah. New things will come up in the world. Maybe from 10,000 years from today, you will say there is no more land left, there is no more forest left. What people are going to survive? Well, people might survive, might not, I don't know. The thing is, but I can give you a guarantee on this one that scientists will try their level best to find alternatives, like they found for the chicken. It's not possible to grow that much chicken naturally. They found a solution. What solution they have? Oh, make it alternatively. Make it in an incubator. It's exactly the same way they have problems with the beef. Beef are farm producing now. People are in a lot of countries, they're trying to get a steak from the meat cells. They're working on it. They're trying to find out these problems. It's not, I just told about food, beef, chicken, rice, those things. I love food. Okay, that's one thing. But this problem is not only with the food, this problem with every single thing we have. Like, think about aluminum, think about gold, think about bauxite, think about uranium, think about iron. What happens if iron is finished in this world? Can you not make any more buildings if iron is gone, the rod is gone? What do you think? Are we going to find out another way? Yeah, scientists already found out another way. They found out that we're going to, instead of iron rod, we're going to use actually tempered glass, the same shape, and which will be much more stronger than the rod. Can you imagine that? Glass will be stronger than the rod. Iron, steel. Yes, it is possible. Look at diamond. Diamond is the most strongest, hardest metal in the world. Not metal, iron. Carbon, actually, hardest carbon in the world. All right, so that's what the economics does. They try to find out who will get what. Let me give you a more realistic example now. If I tell now that I'm going to give, how many students I have? Let me check. 6. If I say that I'm going to give you guys $100, and you guys will have to have a lunch together, or you guys can go out for a coffee together. There will be a big fight. They will not be able to actually come to a decision what they want with this $100. Okay, some of them might say, I don't know what is coffee. I don't like coffee. I prefer go for tea or a glass of warm milk. Someone might say, oh, I want this, I want that. Different things will come up. You know what we're going to do that time? We're going to actually develop a management to handle these resources. For resources, $100 is our resource. Whatever we have. So all the resources that we have in Australia is actually being managed. Who is managing? Government is managing. Every 5 years, okay, I'm sorry, 3 years, the government comes to us and asks for a job. Not only government, all the political parties, they come to us and they ask for a job. What job? They ask for a job to manage our money, manage our resources, not the money. How many students here are from other countries, international students? Nancy? Nancy Nguyen?
Yeah.
You from Australia?
Yeah.
Okay, good. For Australia, I'll talk to you soon. And who is that? Kochung Pan. Yes, good. I can talk better.
Hi, Mohammed.
Yes.
Call me Hung.
Kobe Hung. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thank you, Mohammed.
Thank you, my friend.
All right.
All right. Charlie,
Yeah,
local or international?
local.
Good. Tiani one. Tiani, local. All right. Now we're going to talk very interesting things. All right. Let me show you a very interesting point here. Share it. Let me show you guys a map. Do any of you, since all of you are local students, not international, domestic, local students, can any of you tell me how many kangaroos do we have in Australia?
How many, what, excuse me?
How many kangaroos do we have in Australia?
Oh, I'm not sure.
So we have around 50 million kangaroos. How many kangaroos we have in Australia? We have 50 million kangaroos. Okay. And what is our population? Australian population, what is our population?
About 25 million.
25 million. Can you imagine you all own 2 kangaroos? Who owns all these resources of this country? Citizens own these resources. Citizen owns these resources. You see this map in here. Under this land, and not only land, water too. So they have water border. I can see the water border in here, but you can see here very clearly. Under this land, whatever you have, everything is owned by Australia under this land. Under and within this land, within this land, and all the water as well. All the resources that Australia have, owned by whom? All those people who are living within this border. So if this country has 50 million kangaroos and 25 million human, every human owns 2 kangaroos. Yeah? Every Australian owns 2 kangaroos. But you have given these things to Scott Morrison that you can manage. We are not going to have 2 kangaroos in our apartment, no. Anyway, so like this, fishes in the ocean. You see the fish in the ocean? Then you can see that all the uranium under that, all the iron, all the everything, all the trees, roads, lights, every single thing is our resources. Okay. So now let's move on. Okay, we have done that. All right. Now the problem, why do we need this management? Because we don't know what to produce. We as a normal people, we don't know what to produce. We don't know how to produce and for whom to produce. You know what I mean? You could ask, what do you mean by you don't know for whom to produce? What's going on? What do you mean by you don't know whom to produce? You produce for us, for the Australian citizens. Yeah, but not necessarily. We always produce everything for Australians. And let's say we produce for Australian, but not everybody is willing to take 2 kangaroos. Problems we have. What to produce? Now, these 3 questions can be answered by economics. Okay. I'm not going to take you in micro and macro at this moment. I want to take you to something else at the moment. I would like to take you to here. insert a new slide. I will take you to this point right now. This is called economic systems. Okay. So you can solve this problem in 3 different methods. You can let the government make all the decisions for you. Okay. It has a name, we call that command economy. Okay. Or you can let the market to decide what you want. Okay. Or you can combine them both, market and the government. These are 3 different economies we have. Command economy has other names. Sometimes it's known as planned. Sometimes it's even known as government economy. Market economy, it has another name called free economy. Mixed has nothing, mixed is combination of these 2. Okay, I'll talk about it. Now, the question is what to produce. Okay, so now people will get fight. Like I gave you an example, like what to produce. If I give you $100, what are you gonna buy for dinner tonight? There will be a fight. What to produce? Some people from Queensland will say, no, we need to produce more and more coal. Some people from Western Australia, they will say we need more police officers. Okay, so it depends what they want. So that's why instead of fighting among us, if they keep on fighting on every single issue like this, 25 million people will be dead over the 2 years' time. So they will prefer to actually, we human will be actually prefer to leave it to the government. Let the government decide for us what to produce. Okay, in some countries they do. Let the government decide everything. Okay. This is one way. Government will decide what to produce, what not to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce, how many to produce. They will decide it. Government's job to decide what to produce, what not to produce. Okay, this is one way. So like I would like to give an example about North Korea. Very interesting country, very interesting. North Korea is #1 country in the world for producing nuclear weapons, nuclear nuke. Okay, they're #1. They decided we're gonna use our resources for this purpose. That's their problem. Okay, but we have no problem with these things, what he produces. But when it becomes a threat for other countries, that time they need to interfere. That's political things. I'm not going to talk about politics in the class right now. I wish it was a political science class. I would have talked a little bit more, but not in this subject now. All right. So that's what he decides. What to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce. This should be the same line. All these are the same questions. Okay. So this is the main job. This is the 3 questions that needs to be solved by economics. Okay. Now, all these 3 questions can be answered either by the government or you can leave it to the market. What is a market? We'll talk about it soon. Okay, cool. Now let's talk about different types of economy. Okay, look, one is economic system, and now we're talking about economics. So when you talk about 2 major branches of economics, okay, so 2 major branches, microeconomics and macroeconomics. Okay, micro and macro, 2 branches of economics. What is microeconomics? Concerned with individual, household, farmer behavior. Microeconomics is about It will be concerned about individual, household, farm, and individual behavior. Now, what do we mean by individual? We mean two individuals, household or farm. Okay. How about macroeconomics? And macroeconomics is concerned about the study of aggregate. Look at here, what they say, study of aggregate economy of a country. For example, okay, like GDP of a country, okay. So I think these things, okay, let's leave it with there. Yeah. So macroeconomics about the overall country. Now I'm going to actually give you a nice example to understand the macro and macro very clearly. I will have to take you back to Australia now. Okay. This is Australia, right? Look, like Australia, there are a lot of other countries in the world. Look at that. A lot of other countries, a lot of countries are there. Okay. I want to go in a global view. Global view. Okay, now you can see a lot of resources are there. A lot of other countries are involved in here too, not only Australia. See? Now, if we say demand of, here is South Africa, okay? Demand for South Africa. Demand for Namibia. Demand for Madagascar. Demand for Mozambique, Zimbabwe. Demand for Niger. Okay? Then here it is. I think this is Norway. Demand for Norway. Okay, see Norway, very big. Demand for Norway. Demand for Sweden. Okay, so these are demand for any specific country we are talking about, right? We're talking about demand for specific countries. When you talk about any specific countries, okay, demand for a country or demand or inflation of a country, that time you are talking about macroeconomics. If you talk, like if you say demand for Australia, unemployment of Australia, then price level of Australia, this is macroeconomics. Okay, then what is micro? Macro in a bigger size, macro smaller. Within Australia, if you talk about one specific person, okay, if you talk about one specific person or one specific farm or one specific industry, you are talking about microeconomics. If I ask you, okay, what is the demand for Kenan Hopkins? What is the inflation rate for, what is the, let's say, supply of Nancy Nguyen? We're talking about one person of Australia. This is part of microeconomics. All right? Don't forget, this is very, very important to understand. All right. So I think I should move on. Any questions? Anything is not clear, please don't hesitate to ask me, please. Okay. Now we'll talk about positive and normative economics. Okay. So these things are not that much of related with my previous talk, but I will try to make a relation in here. Okay. We say here positive versus normative economics. What is positive? What is normative? Look, I went to my doctor, Oh my God, if I listen to him, I'm going to die in over 2 months' time. Okay. Why I'm saying these things? Because he was too normative. So my doctor will tell me this. You have to go to bed by 10 o'clock at night. Wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Don't wake up straight from bed. Take 10 minutes rest. Don't jump so quick. Okay. Then drink 2 glasses of water. Then wait for another half an hour. Then go to washroom, brush yourself, take a shower. Okay. Then go to gym, run. If I listen only that much, it will take me 3 to 4 hours time. Okay. Then go to work. Take your time at 12 o'clock, take lunch, 9 o'clock, drink water. So they will prescribe like this. That's how it should be. That is normative. So before I leave his chamber, I told him, I really appreciate what you're suggesting me, but it's quite not very realistic way of living a life. I understand that's how it should be. Maybe after 20 years from now, I will try it my best, but not right now. I have other things to do at this moment. Okay. So I need to explain him, describe him, explain him, like show him that what I can do maximum. So now 2 things in here. One is like positive talk that I try to describe him my problem, explain my situation. And I can predict in maybe after 10 years, 20 years, I can live a better lifestyle, but not right now. You see, no moral judgments or anything in here. But normative economics is about policies, what it should be. You know what I mean? What it should be, not actually why it was not exactly how it should be. That is positive economics. It describes, it explains, it predicts. Now the question is economics a science? Economics is a social science. Okay. Economics is a social science. Okay. Sometimes we can perform rigorous tests as well. Economics, we can do lots of testing. All right. So economics is an art of social science to satisfy unlimited human wants and need with limited resources efficiently. That's what economics is. Okay. Now, modeling economic relationship, diagram and figures. Diagram. What is a diagram? A diagram represents model in economics. Theoretical construct representing relationship between economic variables, explaining complex processes. That's what diagram does. Example, production purpose possibility curve is a diagram. It is a fundamental economic model, the production possibility curve. It illustrates the society's production choices. Another one is circular flow model and withdrawal and injection model, another graph. Okay, so you try to understand what are diagrams, what are the graphs, what are the curves means, these things. I think we have done already this one. Okay. We'll talk about it later, not right now. Yeah. So I think I'll talk this one first. Scarcity. I think we have done these things too. Now we'll talk a little bit about opportunity cost. Then I will talk about production possibility frontier. What is opportunity cost? Good question. The opportunity you're losing, that is opportunity cost. The opportunity you are losing, that is opportunity cost. For example, you have $20 in your wallet. With this $20, you can have a dinner or you can go for a movie. You have two opportunities here. One opportunity is to have a dinner. Another opportunity is to go for a movie. You decided to lose one opportunity and keep the other one because you do not have enough money. Your resources are limited. What you decided is you said, okay, I'm going to have a lovely dinner. Okay, so what did you lose? Movie. So the opportunity cost of the dinner is the movie what you lost. Make sense? So the cost of best next alternative. So opportunity cost, you can only identify opportunity cost of when you compare between two items. If it is more than 2-3 items, you cannot find the opportunity cost. Okay. Now, production possibility frontier, a curve that shows maximum possible output that can be produced given the available resources and technology. What is a production possibility frontier? We say that production possibility frontier is actually telling us the maximum possible output that can be produced. Okay, that can be produced given the available resources and technology. So how much you can produce at best. That's what is production possibility frontier. We'll show you in a graph. Okay. So this is a production possibility frontier graph. All right. So here they try to show you that a country can produce W0 wine maximum if they produce nothing else, or if they produce sheep, which is S0 sheep they can produce maximum. Now this country decided that no, we don't want to produce just only wine or only sheep. Okay. So that's what they decided. Now, if they decide that we are going to produce something combination of these two, they can produce at this point. Let me draw it. Let's say they decided that we have to produce at this point. Okay, that we are going to produce this much of wine. If you produce this much of wine, that you will have a little bit more resources left. With those resources, you can produce this much of shapes. All right. Yeah, you can produce this much of shape. So now you see, if you sacrifice this much, if you sacrifice from here to here, okay, if you sacrifice this much of wine, you can actually produce this much of ships. Make sense? So opportunity cost of producing is not S0. I think I should put a name in here. Let's put it here. Wine production. Okay. You want to produce WP wine. Okay. Then you will be able to produce SP of ships. Now, if the question I ask you right now that what is the opportunity cost of producing SP ship? You have to answer me that to produce SP quantity of ships, you need to sacrifice WP minus WO minus WP, this much of Y. Let's say now that I want to produce this much of wine and this much of. Okay. Now the new things will come up. Now you say here WQ. Okay. And here we're going to produce SQ. Now, if I ask you a question here, what is the opportunity cost? What is the opportunity cost of producing or increasing our ship production from SP to SQ? Now look, now our production was SP, now we're increasing it to till SQ. To increase this much, we had to reduce our wine production from WP to WQ. We had to sacrifice that wine production. So the opportunity cost of increasing ship productions from SP to SQ, opportunity cost will be WP minus WQ, this much. Is it clear, guys? Is this clear to you guys? How?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Thank you very much.
A
Now,
little bit hard, Mohammed.
yes.
A little bit hard to understand.
I
But
will
it's
forget-
okay. It's okay. I will catch up. It's okay.
No. We can continue. I will explain again.
Yeah.
What I meant here is this, that first we need to understand the opportunity cost. Okay. Then we need to understand the production possibility frontier. Two concepts we need to understand. Then we're going to apply the opportunity cost knowledge into our production possibility frontier. Okay. So what I said here is this, that opportunity cost is this, that what you sacrifice to produce something else, or what is the opportunity that you are losing. That's what we mean, the opportunity cost, costing the opportunity. Okay. So what we found here very interesting is this. I gave an example of $20. You have limited money, and the opportunity cost comes because we do not have enough resources. So we have to trade off another opportunities. If you go for one, we cannot go for another. You have $20, you can buy a t-shirt or you can buy a school bag. Okay, two opportunities you have. Now, if you say I'm going to buy a t-shirt, opportunity cost of your t-shirt will be your what you did not buy, the school bag. Okay, this is clear. Is this clear to you? Form?
I'm fine now.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you. Thank you.
Now we're going to apply this concept into our production possibility frontier. The production possibility frontier tells us it is a diagram like this. You see this diagram? It is a diagram like this. Okay. This line. Let me draw this line so you guys can see this line I'm talking about. This line. Okay. This line I'm talking about. This is our production possibility frontier curve. This concave line. Okay. Now, the thing is that every point, and I believe you guys understand these things, that every point here, every point here is connected to create this line. There are a lot of points here. When you connect these lines, these dots, that's how you created this curve, right? That's how a curve is being created. You know this thing from a trigonometry, that one dot, you cannot draw any line. You need at least two dots to draw a line. Right? How about two dots goes next to each other? That's also a line. Okay. All right. Now, it says that from this diagram, we can understand this point is referring that WO point. This point of this graph is referring, this point is referring us that if we produce just only wine, so this diagram is showing us a country can produce two items, wine or ship. If the country decides that we are going to produce only wine, nothing else, they can produce W0 wine using all their resources. They can produce W0 wine using all the resources. Or if they produce not a single drop of wine, they can produce S0 number of ships. If S0 number of ships, if they produce no wine, all resources are used just to produce the ship. Okay, just to produce this ship. All right. Now, if this country, so they can produce at this point or this point. What about if they want to produce something combination of any? Yes, they can do that. They can do that. So they can produce any point, any combination that falls within this line. Okay? That falls within this line. Any combination is possible. So I choose this point. You see this point? One I choose that I want to produce this point. This is a line within this line. W0, S0 curve within this line. I choose this point. That I want to produce this much of WP from here. So I want to produce WP amount quantity of wine. So I cannot produce this much. I'm not producing this much. I'm sacrificing this much. Why I'm sacrificing this much? Because I'm going to use these resources to produce ships. And I found if I sacrifice WP minus W0 minus WP, this much of resources I sacrifice, I can produce actually this much of ships. Okay, I can produce this much of ships. Make sense? So to produce this SP quantity of ships, what is my sacrifice? W0 minus WP of resources. Does it make sense now?
Yes.
Yes,
Now,
Mohammed.
Okay, if it is okay with you, let me finish very quickly. Maybe I'll take 30 more seconds. Now we decided that after a couple of years, the country decided that no, we need more ships. We don't need that much of wine. They reduced their wine production, WP to WQ quantity, to increase their ships production from SP to SQ. Now applying the same rules, can we say the extra production of this ship from SP to SQ, this much of ship productions, okay? Okay, this much of ship productions. What is the opportunity cost of producing this much of ship production? SPSQ, quantity of ship production. Opportunity cost will be WPWQ, this much. Is it clear now? Because that much you are sacrificing to produce extra SP to SQ. Is it clear, guys?
Yes, Mohammed.
Good, thank you very much. Now let me explain you something more. Look, there is a line dotting here, X, you can see that this is a dot. So any point you select from this line, any point you select from this line, we call that one as, you know what? We call that an efficient production. Efficient production, we call that. Okay, and we call the efficient point. What about if we want to produce at this point? Is it possible? At this point in here, is it possible? No, this point is not possible. Why? Because the maximum capacity of the country to produce within this gray area, not out of this gray area. That's why we call that unattainable. This side is unattainable. We cannot produce that. Okay, we cannot produce this point here. No. What about inside this gray area? Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. But the most efficient will be if you produce at this edge line, at this point. If you produce inside, like this point X, you can see here the cross point. Yes, you can produce here. But at this point, if you notice, look at here. Oh gosh, no. Let's give me a second. Yeah. All right. So if they want to produce at this point, okay, look, this much of wine and this much of ships. But the question is it efficient? No, it's not efficient. It's not efficient. Why not efficient? Because look, if you want to produce this much of ships, I understand you need this much of ships. Then you could have produced, look, you could have produced, oh, no. You could have produced, if you take this line straight up in here, this much of wine, but your one production is only this much, not much. Your production is only this much. See that? But you could have produced till this, till here. See? So it means that you are not utilizing the resources properly. Okay? Even if you turn around, not only for this side, think about other side. Let's say if they really want to produce wine this much only, okay, let's say they want to produce this much of wine. That's perfectly fine. So the rest of the resources that you have, with those resources, you could have produced this much of you could have produced this much of ships. But you're producing only here, or up to the red line. So how much is not produced, which you could have produced, but you did not, is this much of chips is not produced. All right, guys, I hope these things are clear to you guys. So what is the best thing to do? Produce at any point which is within this line. If you draw it inside, that is attainable but inefficient. If you draw it outside, it's unattainable. Okay, hope things are clear now. Okay, yeah, so that's what they're going to discuss in here. Now I would like to talk to you guys regarding these farms and household things. In economics, when we talk about a farm, we mean the business. Okay, when we talk about the farm, we mean the business. When we talk about household, we mean the citizens. Always remember this one. Okay. So two group of people here, farms and household. Farms mean business and citizens. That's what they mean here. Okay. Farms and household, business and citizens. So it says, macroeconomy is composed of interactions among its key sectors, which can be shown by a circular flow of model. Okay, two things, goods market and factor markets. What are the good markets? What are the factor market? We will talk about it now. Who owns the resources of a country, guys? This is very important to understand. Who owns the resources of a country?
Government?
Thank you very much. Anybody else?
RBI.
All right. You know what? All the resources that I told you before are owned by the Australian citizens. All the resources you see. Even the salary you're paying to your prime minister is going from your pocket. All right. All these people you see working in Central Link, Service NSW, government things, everybody is being paid by the citizens. It's not anything called government here. If you talk about government in another institutions, for example, let's say any party comes in, is their government. It's not like that. It's you. You give them the right to manage your resources. That's your resources as a citizen. All right, let me go. So what do we have in this country? Many things we have, but we give them a common name. What these things are? We call these four things we give them. Okay, four things we give them. And the four things we call them. Okay. I'll say here factors of production. Number one is land. Number two is labor. Number three is capital. And number four is entrepreneur. Or some people say enterprise. Some books will enterprise on the side, you can say management. Yeah. It depends on the writer. It doesn't make sense. It's not a big deal. It's all the same way. So the land we have, we need a land. To make anything you want to produce, you need these four things. What are these four things? These four things are land, labor, capital, and organization. Oh, some people say organization too. Organization. Different names in it. But the main point is a board or a group of people who will run it. That's what they mean, the management entrepreneur. Yeah. Okay, so four things we need. Land, labor, capital, entrepreneur to produce anything. So who owns the land of a country? Sorry, citizens. Labor, that's also citizen. Labor, do not think that labor means any specific person. No, we all are labor. Our activities, our actions are the labors. Okay. We all are labor here. All right. So who has the labor? Citizens again. If all the citizens of Australia says you're not going to work, you're not labor. Nobody's going to work. There is no labor. Citizens are the laborers. Okay. All right. Next. So these things. So what happens? So this is, you can see this is the thing is household. Okay. So household is the owner of all these resources. And first thing is that, okay, that household will give their factors of productions to the farm. Household are those people who are normal citizens. Okay, the household is giving their services of factors of productions going to the farm. When they give these things to the farm, farm will in return give them for land. They will give them rent. Okay. For labor, wages. For capital, interest. For here, profit. So these things will be returned back to the household. Now, interesting part is that rent, wages, interest, profit, all these things are actually money. So household gives the land, labor, and capital to the farms, and in return, the farm is giving them the money. In which forms? In a form of rent, in a form of wages, in a form of interest, in a form of profit or dividend. They're getting these things as money. So what does the farm do in the background scene? They use all those factors of productions, okay? Combine these factors of productions. What are those? Land, labor, capital, organization. They combine those things and produce things. What do they produce? The farm produce? The farm produces goods and services. Make sense? Farm is producing goods and services. Then now the farm is asking the household, hey, household. Hello, Australian citizens. Remember I gave you some money, rent, wages, interest, and profit things I gave you because you gave me land, labor, capital, enterprise. So by using those things, I produced some goods and services. What about you? What are you doing with the money? Come and buy my goods. See these things and enjoy your life. Make sense, guys? What actually happened? That our resources has been converted into goods and services. All good, guys, now, so far?
Yep.
Perfect. All right. So that's what is known as your circular flow of income, how the money is being floating. So again, now you can see here that you guys think like this, and again, all those things will be actually back. All the money will be taken back by the business. Guess this way, Woolies. You work in Woolies and they give you a good salary, $10,000 salary they gave you every month. And Woolies is the only store you have in Australia, for example. There is no other place to go. You went to their store, you worked for them, they gave you the money. Now by using you, they produce something else and they ask you, give me $10,000 back, I give you this and this product. You see that? That's exactly what I'm talking about. All right. Now here we're going to talk about these three things I told you: command economy, free market, and mixed economy. Okay, these three economies. Okay. All right. Okay, so command economy. What is a command economy? Command economy, I already explained you that everything is decided by the government or the central authority. That's command. For for free or market economy, decisions are made by the market. What is a market? That's a good question will come up. A market is what? Combination is combined with buyers and sellers. Market is created with two components, buyers and sellers. Okay? That's what it is. Buyers and sellers. So buyers, like in command economy, government will decide what to produce, what not to produce. Like Mr. Kim Jong-un decided we're going to produce nuclear weapons. Look, they become #1 in the world for big nuclear weapon. Okay, nobody has that many nukes like they have. Okay, that's command economy. Free market economy, market will decide, not the government. Now the question is, how come buyer and seller can decide? Oh, yes, seller can offer the goods, buyer will say no, it means they don't want that. That's how they make the decisions. Okay. Let's say someone comes up to you today and say, I have a mobile phone, which is just a button phone, it's not a smartphone. Some of you may like it, most of them you will not like it. Make sense? So that's the case. You might like it, you might not like it. When majority of the people will not like it, that thing will not be in the market. Why we do not have land phone into our uses anymore? A lot of people, they don't use land phone anymore because we don't need it, we don't want it. Okay, but some people will always want it. Okay. The last one is mixed economy. I'll talk about it, that why these are the problems for mixed economy, and all those economies have these clashes, why we have so many economies. I'll talk about what are the problems with command economy, what are the problems with free economy, and why do we have mixed economy. Now, the problem with command economy, the problem is this, that government makes all the decisions, but the decisions are not that good sometimes. Like look at Kim Jong-un, his decision may not be good all the time. Citizens may not want it, the nuclear weapons. But the thing is, since he is the only person to make all the decisions, so that's what it is. Okay? So this is the problems we have. All right. So now, to solve this problem, say no, market will decide. That's what is the capital. That's what is the market economy. In market economy, problem is everything is being controlled by the private sector. Government has nothing to do. That's a big problem. Government has nothing to do. So now, if this is the case, a lot of people who are not efficient enough, they may not have a job in the market. That's the problem. So you say, no, government interference is also necessary. Then we created mixed economy. In mixed economy, government and market both will make the decisions. Okay. But anyway, end of the day, government decisions will be prevailing. We know these things. All right. Next is about the market. Okay. The effect of changes in demand and supply. Price act both as signal and incentives. That's very interesting. Okay. What is a market? A market is consisted of demand and supply. Demand is created. Look, demand is created by the buyers, and supply is created by the seller. So we have buyer and seller in the market, and buyer and seller will create the market. And another thing we have here, interdependence of markets also rely on each other. Like two markets we had here, one is farm, one is household. Farm is the buyer of land, labor, and capital resources. Again, farm is the seller of goods and services. But the household, they are selling land, labor, capital, and they are buying goods and services. See that? All right. So this one, the farm, we call that as farm is actually in demand, and we call that the demand will be deciding your market. So the farm is actually our, you can see here, we have, I think we have mentioned it here, goods market and factors market. Factors means factors of production market. Factor markets, yeah. So household supply, land, labor, and capital, and other factors to farm, and farm pays rent, wages, dividend, and interest to household. Okay. And goods market, money flows from household to farm in the form of consumer expenditure. Goods and services flows from farm to household. This is goods market. This is factors market. Okay. Nice. So these markets are related to each other, like dependence of goods and factor market. Different goods related to different markets. Like for example, iron market is actually very much interdependent. Iron market and car industry, for example, steel industry and car industry, they are connected to each other. Okay. Let's talk about perfect competition. Perfect competition is this. I think I will skip this one right now because we have a whole chapter for perfect competition. I just don't want to confuse you guys at this moment. Let's go slow. All right. Why government intervenes in the market? For equity and fairness. Government need to interfere into the market for equity and fairness. And most economies in the world today are mixed market economies. Markets are the predominant means by, okay, we already discussed these things. So here is Australian economy, you can see. Okay, we don't have much things to talk now. Mostly we'll get introduced with the Australian economy here, and I will close the class. We don't have much things. Yeah, most of them about Australian economies. What we have, what we don't. Okay, let's have a look. So economic performance of a country is commonly measured at gross domestic product. Okay, how a country macroeconomics we'll talk about. We'll talk about Australian economy. Okay, so an economy, how much economic, what is the performance of an economy of a country? It is measured by the GDP. Okay, what is GDP? We'll talk about it. So Australian economy has grown rapidly since 1992. From 92, they've grown very well. Employment grows rapidly. So Australian cash rate is recovered 0.25%. Inflation rate is 2.2%. Unemployment rate is in here. The unemployment rate is now 7.4 in 2020, not now, last year's data. Okay, you can see unemployment rate is high. Okay. So USA cash rate is almost zero. GDP is growing. Unemployment is falling steadily. That's the problem there. Australia real GDP 2018-19, 1.84 trillion. Look at chain value measurement. GDP per capita is the GDP divided by the, just go through this thing. These things are, I think we'll talk about it in details in our next classes. I know we have these things in our chapters. Have a look in here. Cash rate, well, this is for which year? 2018, 13th of March 2018. Okay. is Australian composition of GDP, where the money is coming to Australia, household wealth, household debt, employment, share export share. Okay. Residential dwellings, yeah. So now you can see here the Australian GDP is growing high very much in 2011, 12 that time. Okay, 11 and 12. So this was in 11 too. Yeah. It went down. Yeah. Very high was in 12 actually. This is about unemployment rate. Inflation rate, you can see it's quite steady after this time, after 1990, it is steady quite, I can say it's going down a little bit. Yeah. Before it was really high. 84, 85, it was really high. Okay, this is the growth production. Growth projection in future, 2021, it's 6.6%. 6.6, we'll see. But pandemic had messed up everything, so this may not be correct now. Okay, US economic growth, 4.3% in 65, 69. So now USA was not doing very well. Estimated rapid GDP growth in the USA, 4.3%. 65, 69, they had that growth. Hmm. 2020 Trump government. Obama did okay. Bush was really bad. Obama was, yeah. But here it went down really badly. All right, I think I will stop it in here now. Economic outlook of different countries. All right. So major questions in macroeconomics asked normally is that what determines the level and rate of growth of GDP? So anyway, these are the 5 questions we have. We'll talk all of these 5 questions. Why do some countries have high unemployment rates? What can the government do to lower the unemployment rate? Why does the economy go through a business cycle? Why do we have some periods of rapid inflation? Then finally, why does the balance of payments current account go into deficit, and does it really matter? All right. Well, I think I'll stop it in here for today, and we'll talk more about it in our next classes. Now, before you go, please let me ask you this: which of the following is a normative statement? So when the economy booms, inflation rises, cause and effect. If inflation rate rises, inflation will fall, predict. If the RBI wants inflation to fall, it has to increase the interest rate. Okay, so this one is actually a suggestion. Inflation is too high, so the RBI should increase the interest rate. So this one, the last one, I think is a normative. They're talking about what they should do. All right, let's go back to our home slide, share, and we're gonna do our attendance now. (2021) All right. Oh, okay. I got only 8 students. So yeah. So yes, Kenan Hopkins, you here? I think so.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Milad Zalil Porsisan, you there? Milad? No. Sharman Lopez is here. Nancy Nguyen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Then Kokpan? Chokpan actually.
No, Hùng. But it's okay. Mohammed, it's all right.
Okay, all right. I'll call you Pan. That's okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I'll call you Pan. Yes. Kabin Selban? Kabin Selban? No, Selban is not here. Tiani Wang. Tiani, you there? No. Tiani is, but I think Tiani was there in my class. Charlie, you?
Yep.
Yeah, thank you very much, Charlie. Yes. Tiani Wang, can you please respond in the class next time instead of texting me, please? We'll appreciate that. I rarely talk, to be honest. I enjoy talking.
Apparently, Tanya is in China, so maybe the connections there are different.
Ah, she's in China. Okay, all right. That's why I understand. Not a problem. Thank you very much for coming in, guys. Guys, before you go, can I ask you guys something this? Should I go faster? Should I go slow, or the pace is okay?
I think the face is okay since you like explained thoroughly each part of the topic.
All right.
Yeah, it's pretty good at the moment.
All right, no worries. Thank you very much, guys. Just be friendly and talk to me. Anything you find is not going well, you're not happy with, any issues, you want to repeat me a chapter, don't bother at all. Don't hesitate at all.
Okay. Okay.
All right. No worries. Any problems, talk to me. All right?
Okay. All right.
Only
Mohammed?
class related, okay? Not other things. No.
Sorry, Mohammed.
Yes.
What's the homework?
Homework? There is no
Yeah.
homework.
Do we need to read any chapter, anything for the next class or?
Yes. What you can do for me is that next week, you can see here, you can read module 2, demand and supply, number 1. Next week, you have a portfolio opening. Okay, portfolio 2 is opening. Next week too, you have to do the portfolio quiz and portfolio workshop, and quiz is in here. Quiz is also, I think it's week 3, but you can do the practice quiz as well. That's all for now. Then when you get stuck in somewhere, any questions, anything, ask me in the class next week. Okay. And even today, if you could not understand me for some issues, some regions, and you're still not that expressive, some students do not express, even they don't understand because of their cultural issues. So I would appreciate, please, I will upload today's lecture onto YouTube channel. Okay, I'll give you the link of my YouTube channel, then you can go and find it there. Okay, so that's all actually we're gonna do. Okay, I would like to stop